and whatever the king had set before him. Even prior to that, if you go back and look at the text said that they even tried to change their names.
Yeah, my God.
So when I hear brainwashing and mental health disorders and a lot of things that they're trying to do to us and cause us to deconstruct and cause us to get into a place of demise and get into a place of depression, they was doing it back in the biblical time. You better read your Bible.
Come on now.
The Bible said they were brainwashing, they were changing the name, they were doing everything that they thought they could do to persuade these men. Then in chapter 3, I love chapter 3, we've heard it in Christian education, we've heard it in what some people call Sunday school, is the chapter when Nehemiah, when Daniel, Shadrach, and Meshach went before Nebuchadnezzar in the fiery furnace. And we knew that they made up in their mind that they weren't going to worship nothing but God.
Right.
See, again, they had a mind for the Lord. And they had a mind to work. And what was they working? They were working their faith. Because the Bible said that they told, "O king, we will not bow down." In other words, as the fire consumes, let it burn. If we go in, whichever way God is going to do it. But one thing we know for certain and two things we know for sure. That we're not giving in to a false deity. And so many people are giving in to idols and things and so many things. I'm not just talking about people outside of the church. I'm talking about people right in the church. They're giving in to so many things. I said this before and I ain't afraid to say it again. When Obama became president, some people, not everybody, let me correct myself. A lot of people looked at him as a god to some degree. They were just more happy that he was a president. Nobody really held him to even the standards of bringing forth some of the policies and the things that he should have done. But we didn't even look at him to that point. All we was infatuated with is that he made history. But nobody held him responsible for the job and the oath that he took. But it's amazing us as preachers and pastors, you can find the unsaved will try to hold you to an office that they don't even really have a full understanding of. And they'll look at you and they'll say, "And you supposed to be a preacher." Don't read no kind of Bible, don't sit in no kind of church, but they got the audacity to tell you what your job and entail is. And when he became president, a lot of us, including yours truly, we didn't really hold him to some of the things and the policies that should have came through his regime. But yet, and still, God allowed it to happen. And to a degree, he became an idol to so many people. Because even some of the things that he did and some of the things that was orchestrated up under his regime, if you even talked about it, some people will almost cuss you out. Call on them. Amen, somebody. But yet and still, because we were looking at the historical side and not the office and the responsibility. Because you know you can't go to your job and just because you done made history on your job, that may be fine and dandy, but you still got to perform the job. Oh, come on, somebody. But a lot of people, we have made idols. And we see so much is going on in today's news that even our former president is still walking around in his mind thinking he is the president. Because the mindset, the mind. When the mind starts to go, everything else starts to go. It don't even matter how much money you got. It's the mind. It's the mind. That's what the Bible said in Romans chapter 1. He gave them over to a reprobate mind because they did not want to retain the things of God. So God just gave them up. A reprobate, a useless. In the biblical time, they used to scratch an A on a brick that was deformed, and an A stand for idokomos, which means useless or worthless. And here he walking around, still thinking he's the president, visiting people, talking to people, seeing about people, as if he's the president. So we see how the mind can take its toll. We see how the enemy can play on the psyche to the point that you are operating in something that you are no longer a these Hebrew boys back in the
Come on now,
day.
come on now.
The Hebrew boys, they made up in their mind who they were serving. See, some people have become a slave to both sides of the table.
Yeah.
They eat on this side and they eat on that side and they eat on this side and they worshiping gods on the other side of the flood. And one thing I like about Joshua 24, and even though they had went into the promised land in chapter 6 of Joshua, but you would have thought the promised land would have did it for this group of Israelites by now. But almost 18 chapters later, Joshua has to stand and ask a question. You know, it's amazing. You can see the Red Sea. It's amazing that they closed hell up in the wilderness. It's amazing he allowed manna to come down from heaven. It's amazing that he preserved their clothes. It's amazing that he had a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. And they saw all the miraculous works of God. But Joshua had to get to this point with these people. It is sad that you can sit up under so much preaching and so much preaching, and some people look at you like you're crazy, talking about, oh, he going back in that verse again. You want me to tell you why I got to go back in this verse again? Because people like you. And guess what? I say when you point one finger, look at the other three. People like me too. But Joshua, he said this to the people. Now I couldn't imagine. I'm not going to insert. See, we have to be careful with eisegesis. That means to insert something into the text, and I would dare do that. That's dangerous. Please don't do that, preachers. Say what the text says. Don't say what you want the text to say. But Joshua, upset with the people. But one thing about Joshua, he didn't waver. He said, if it seemed evil to you. Now, to me, that's making a declaration. He said, if it seemed evil to you. Because he already knew it didn't seem evil to him. But if it just seemed evil to you, choose ye this day whom you gonna serve. But as for me and my house, that's a made up mind. Come on, somebody. You can't wait for your prayer partner all the time to make their mind up. You can't wait for Bishop so-and-so down the street to make his mind up. You can't wait for the evangelist to make their mind up. You got to stand flat-footed like Joshua. Let everybody else compromise. Let everybody else stand there and stand in between the crack. But as for me and my house, we line it up with the word of the Lord. Proverbs 19:8 says this as I bring this to a close. Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. Let me say that again. Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. And who keeps understanding will discover good. In other words, this person who indulges in foolish living is not doing themselves any favors. In reality, they hate themselves because foolishness leads them to ruin and perhaps early on grave. That's how we got to be careful how we live this life. Sometimes we go into the lion's den and sometimes we are spared from it. Sometimes we come out unscathed, but other times we come out with scars to show from our ordeal. But in any blessing, in any case, we trust in God and believe that blessings will come from our obedience, no matter how small it may seem. Nehemiah. That's why Nehemiah kept working. When they kept bringing reports. See, sometimes people bring reports because they want to discourage you. And they kept trying to discourage Nehemiah from building that wall. They kept saying, they coming today. I don't care when they come. I can hear Nehemiah saying they can be coming right now because they had put men in the holes. That in other words, if you thought you were just going to come and attack while we were building, the Bible says some had bows, some had spears, some had armor. Come on, somebody. So we ain't got to use the same set of people to fight this battle. But even just in case, the Bible said that some of them, even while they was building, had swords on their side. They had sword on their side. Just in case you got within proximity. Just in case. I had to put the hammer down just in case. I had to lead a song. Oh, come on, somebody. Just in case. I had to line a hymn just in case. I had to teach Sunday school with no kind of education. Just in case. I had to lead a prayer meeting and I just started praying yesterday. Just in case. See, sometimes we think we've got to be so equipped for everything.
Come on.
Preacher, where you going with that? I'm going with Moses. Remember when Moses was complaining? I think it's Exodus chapter 5 when he was complaining. And God was telling him to go to Pharaoh. And he was talking about his speech impediment. And he said, who gave you the mouth? See, if God gave you the order, just go.
Just go.
See, everybody can't go with you. See, some people just meant to be onlookers. See, everybody ain't meant to go up with you. Everybody ain't meant to support you. Come on, somebody. Everybody's not meant to ride it out with you. What Paul said in Acts chapter 27, he said, some on boards and some on broken pieces. But except you abide in the ship, some people, all they want to do is jump ship at the sight of trouble. And they forget that God is with them. Nahum 1:7, he said, for the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. God knows if you really trust him or not. You can't fake it till you make it. Quit doing that. It ain't working for you, and you know it ain't working for the Lord. I'm going to fake it till to make it. That's why you ain't making it, because you need to quit faking it and just be real with yourself. You ain't got to be real with God, because God knows you. One of the greatest tests of character and one of the greatest tests of leadership is how you handle opposition and criticism.
All right.
You know, we get hurt, offended by anything nowadays.
Tell it like it is.
2 Corinthians 4:16 says that, so do not lose heart. Through our outward self is wasted away, and our inner self is being renewed day by day. In other words, the outward man, the flesh,